All right, everybody, welcome back to the OffBeat Sports Podcast. We're joined by Chris Cox, a thrower from the Stonehill College track and field team. Stonehill recently announced their transition to the Division I level as they leave the NE10 behind for the NEC. Thanks so much for joining us, man. Very excited to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. So first question, what was your first reaction to the news? Were there any nerves or?
Yeah, so our coach probably told us back in like December. He had an idea for a little bit. Definitely excited. Something every Division II school kind of talks about. But definitely exciting. Looking forward to new competition. It was probably the biggest thing. And the NE10 was getting very dominant on top. You know, Southern Connecticut, really big school, a lot of money, and really kind of getting unattainable to get that first place anymore.
Yeah.
And so it was almost good timing to hear that news, hear that we're leaving, and kind of looking forward to that new competition.
Exactly.
So being a recruit for track and field out of high school, were you looking at any D1 programs in particular, or were you really focused on the D2 experience that was present at the time at Stonehill?
Yeah, I never even considered Division I. I never even reached out, honestly. No coaches reached out to me about it, but the only Division II programs I was looking at was this in New Haven, a couple of Division III schools. Coming to Stonehill really, like the Division II program obviously benefited it in like my decision, but it wasn't the only reason I came here. Like I said, New Haven has just as good as a program and would have been good there, but it was a nice surprise that Division I for sure.
Pursue a D1 career, which is like
right. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, not expected, and then you kind of just get thrown in there, and it's like
right. No, I'm not complaining, right?
Yeah.
So obviously D1, a different caliber of athletes, like a different level at that level of the NCAA. So do you think that Stonehill will be able to compete immediately in the new conference, or do you think there will be a transition period of struggles, kind of adjusting to the new division?
Yeah, so as far like right off the bat, this is going to be a weird kind of transition year because we didn't recruit for D1. You know what I mean? We didn't have that money yet, nothing like that. So recruits coming in are still, I guess, like Division II level recruits.
Yeah.
But as far as talking for the track team, all of our meets are against Division I guys anyway. The only difference is a conference meet. We have meets at Harvard, BU, Holy Cross. Like, it doesn't change anything for us. We have the same competition basically at every meet anyway. NEC is going to be no difference for us. It just comes down to that conference meet, which obviously is that big meet, the only meet that really matters. But I feel like we're not going to be bottom, that's for sure. I think I look at it right now, we could have a good 5-4 finish.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at some of like the throwing records just from I looked at the top 25 for the NEC in the NE10 for discus, hammer, and shot put. I was looking at it, and you were in the top 25 in hammer and discus, and you had a few teammates that would be in top 25 in all three in the NEC, which is kind of like oh, we actually are already competing at that level. So would you say you've set other goals for yourself to help you make that transition easier?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at in track, top 9 place and get points, obviously top 3 medal. But I mean, my goal this year is a top 5 finish, and if I reach that mark I want, it would be top 6 finish in the NEC. So for hammer, it's really no different there. Obviously, shot put discus gets a little more competitive, and those marks get really it's very spread out. You know what I mean? It's very a lot of people are good. In our conference right now, we have one guy really up top, then you got a couple here, and it's spread out that way. But in the NEC, it's very maybe dense is a better word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which makes it way harder to move up, obviously, in your position. But yeah, at least for hammer, which is my main event, it's not going to be much of a change, honestly, which is nice to see for sure. Not extremely worried about it.
Yeah, so I know you're towards the end of your season right now, but throughout this season, has this like transition kind of changed any of your team's normal routines or training in order to try and make another step? Or you guys kind of just going through the same stuff you usually do?
I think a little bit of a fire, honestly. So we're hosting the championships here this year, and obviously it's our last one. You know what I mean? So everyone wants to make a statement for the last one, and it kind of gives you a little new motivation. So doing that same thing over and over again, you finally get to like go on your own path, your own road. You know what I'm saying? And it's your last time, so give it everything you got. You know?
Hey, you want to show you belong at that level, like prove to those other D2 schools that you guys are the ones that deserve to move up. I see that.
Exactly. No doubts. You know.
So as you know, that there's a lot going on through this whole transition with schedule changes, new teams in the conference. You know, it's just a lot going on in general with the transition. So what would you say your main focus is for you going through this whole period of change?
Yeah, so my focus might be a little different than others. Like obviously everyone has their own like injuries and stuff going on, but I do have to really focus on getting better. Got a couple surgeries I got to get done here. Get healthy for the winter. Hopefully for the winter. If not, get really ready for that spring season. But I think that goes honestly for most people is we're a little banged up. You know what I mean? And I think really focused on a good, strong recovery so that we're able to train harder, work harder, and compete better.
Yeah. So last one for you. So Stonehill is a smaller school. It's no secret like that. We're smaller than many schools in our own division at D2, never mind in Division 1. So do you think that you guys have some sort of underdog mentality that will give Stonehill Athletics an edge in their competition throughout all?
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good question. It's definitely no, I don't think not many people knew us before we moved up to Division 1. It definitely put a little more of a spotlight on us. Granted, a lot of people still probably don't know us, but it did put more of a spotlight on us and more people talk about us. So now there's a little bit of that chatter like, oh, what are they going to do? And I mean, for football, they came off a great season this year. People are finishing strong. Women's basketball, women's lacrosse are doing great. Field hockey, all of them. So, I mean, I think we're definitely gonna make a statement. I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, so that's about all we got for you. So that just about wraps up the episode. Thank you, Chris, for taking the time to do this interview with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, thanks everyone for listening. This episode was brought to you by Celsius. Be sure to be on the lookout for Stonehill as they make that transition to D1 next year. It's gonna be a big one.